Mississippi on the move. Let's go.
Deep in the delta where the willows grow, in the soil stained by the blood of my ancestors. Punch bowl voices call out to my soul for justice. The wicked will reap what they've sown. Spirit of Aziz is back on the rise. Soldiers in the delta kept it alive. Time to stand up, take our place in the sun. Understand the time and what must be done.
Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Mississippi. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Sip.
Gotta make a move and take control. Have something we can call our own. So shine your light, help the people see that now is the time for us to be free. And if you waiting on the pie in the sky, you better wake up fast. They told you a lie, cause big fields are waiting the wide awake man. Elijah's got the master plan.
Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Mississippi. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Sip. Injustice, we've had enough. All of our divisions we're breaking up. Destiny has been calling us. The spirit of the Most High is guiding us.
See, the time is now. What you waiting on? Quit shooting your brothers. Put your gun down. Come on. They got a cage waiting for you if you keep that up. Early graves coming to you. From that, can't raise you up. Now, Sister Ida B and Fannie Lou, check them out and you'll know what to do. But if you really want your enemy to be alarmed, read the final call. Follow Farrakhan.
Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Mississippi. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Sip. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Mississippi. Mississippi on the move.
And assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you, and welcome to yet another edition of the Mississippi on the Move podcast. Let us begin in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. We bear witness to the oneness of God. We bear witness to the oneness of his prophets. We bear witness to the oneness of the messages that were revealed through those servants of Almighty God. We refer to him by the proper name Allah, and that is certainly not to dismiss any other righteous name or attribute by which the divine creator is known. We know that some call him some call him Jehovah, some call him Yahweh. We honor and respect all of the righteous names by which the divine creator is known. Please allow us to greet you with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. That simply means may peace be unto you. I am your brother, Abdul Shahid Muhammad.
And I'm your brother, Kenneth Muhammad.
And we are back in the saddle. Brother Kenneth, he be on location, man. The brothers he moving and shaking around here. And I'm certainly excited about what we got coming down the pike. And my brother got some irons in the fire, so to speak. And we have some irons in the fire. And we certainly want to make sure that we monitor and make those events that we have in the funnel coming up successful. Of course, we're going to get right to it, Brother Kenneth, man. Tonight, we got an exciting program. We have a very, very special guest that will be at us at about half after the hour. student minister Abram Muhammad. He is the student minister and representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in the city of Jackson, Mississippi at Muhammad Mosque 78 down there in Jackson. You know where the water crisis is going on, and it's what we're going to cover again today. We covered it last week, and we're going to get a view from ground zero, and ground zero being somebody that's on the ground that knows exactly what's going on, and that is our brother Abram. Brother Kenneth, man, you want to jump on these axioms, man, and kind of get the people what we always give them, let them know that we want to stay in line, because we want to invite you to a call in, and our call in number is of course 901-877-4478, and we're going to start using that a bit more frequently on the call, because we want to hear from you, our listening audience, and allow you to share your thoughts. Of course, if you're logged on to the Podbean app, you can share your thoughts via comments, and I can see them where I am, and I will be more than happy to respond or read them to the listening audience and respond to your comments if you desire to type them in. But I'm going to start with the first one, that is from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who says to us, "He who gives you the diameter of your knowledge prescribes for you the circumference of your activity." We're going to keep that in mind, okay? And the second one that he gives us is the definition of a slave. And a slave is one whose power and authority is ruled over by another, and whose sphere of freedom is limited according to the wishes of his master.
And we also have one by Carter G. Woodson, and it's a quote from his seminal work, The Miseducation of the Negro. And it says, "When you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. You do not have to tell him to go here or yonder. He will find his proper place and will stay in it. You do not need to send him to the back door. He will go without being told. In fact, if there's not a back door, he will cut one for his special benefit. His education makes it necessary." And our last axiom is a quote from Victor Hugo that Dr. Martin Luther King used in 1967 in his treatise, Crisis in American Cities, where he says, "If the soul is left in darkness, sins will be committed. The guilty one is not he who commits the sin, but he who causes the darkness."
Yes, and those are very important, especially in light of recent events. Unfortunately, in my hometown of Memphis, Tennessee, I'm sure you all have heard. And before I go there, let me first thank our listeners as they log on. You all have been faithful coming on. Of course, Sister Patsy, she's always on. Thank you for tuning in, Sister Patsy. And we have listeners that choose not to log on, and we're getting great feedback in terms of the information that we disseminate from this podcast, and the sound all the way from there. I'm getting word like, man, you sound like you're on the radio. Well, we want to do things decent and in order, and we want to produce for you a good product. So, and that's what it is with the Mississippi on the Move podcast. So thank you, listeners, as you come on. Shout out to, of course, all of our satellite and our sister locations down in Mississippi, starting all the way down to Hattiesburg, our student minister Kazim down there. Assalamu alaikum, sir. And we're moving up to the brother that's going to be our guest for tonight in Jackson, Mississippi, student minister Abram Muhammad. Coming further up north on over to Greenwood, Mississippi, brother Basil, student minister Basil Muhammad, and going back over to the western part, student minister Larry Muhammad in Greenville, Mississippi. And of course, we are at the top in the northern end of the state in Holly Springs, Mississippi. Yours truly and my brother and friend, Brother Kenneth Muhammad. Announcements, Brother Kenneth.
Yes, sir.
Of course, October is coming up, man. So we want to be on the lookout for the Holy Day of Atonement. So those of us in Holly Springs, and of course throughout the state, and of course all around the country, keep your ears open. The Holy Day of Atonement, that is the commemoration of the Million Man March that took place in 1995. And of course, every year around the 16th of October, we commemorate that Holy Day of Atonement, wherein we want to fast and pray and atone for our offense of one another. First, our offense to our Creator. And boy, we need some atonement this year. And of course, coming up in November, you all, the early part, around the first week, as a matter of fact. We're looking at November the 5th in particular, the Prison Reform Gala. We may have some other events surrounding that centerpiece, but definitely the Prison Reform Gala. And Brother Kenneth, tell us a little bit about that one, man.
Well, Brother Shaheed, what we're doing, this will be the 4th annual, and for some reason my microphone seems like it's got an echo in. I hope I'm being heard. Yeah, but the 4th annual Prison Reform Gala, this was something that was started in Nashville, Tennessee. Muhammad's Mosque number 60, under the leadership at that time, student minister Abdul Majid Muhammad, who has transitioned, has been kept alive by student minister Brother Samuel X, the student captain Andre Muhammad, and his student prison reform minister Brother Eric Muhammad. And this year, we wanted to move it from Nashville and bring it down to the great state of Mississippi, and so that the entire nation can come down and see our beautiful, beautiful people who sometimes get a bad rep. And we're also taking this particular opportunity at the 4th annual Reform Gala to commemorate and honor a man that has been doing a particular job for over 30 years, 32 years to be exact. And it is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's Student National Prison Reform Minister, Abram Muhammad. And Islam, we're not going to wait until a person has moved on and then stand up and cry those crocodile tears and then say, flowery words about them. We like to give the flowers while we're alive. Flowers while you live. So this brother here who has a heart for the oppressed, a heart for those who are incarcerated, who traveled all over the United States, going into prisons that he's able to get into. We want to just show him our thanks and let him know how much we love and appreciate him. So that weekend, it starts on Friday, Saturday, then Sunday. We're going to make a weekend out of it, brother. And what we're going to do is you're going to have to get your tickets. Tickets are going fast. The tickets are $100 a person. If you want to lock a table down, that'll be $1,000. And you say, man, that's a lot. No, it's not. Because once you look at the cause, and then I've been to several of these fundraisers, you get a half a meat, maybe 2-3 asparagus, some tea, lemonade, and maybe some water, and you spend $250. We're going to have a full regiment of some of the best cuisine that you ever had. We're going to have entertainment, and it's for a worthy cause, because the money that we raise through the tickets will help not only cover the expense of this event, but also help sponsor other events throughout the region, which includes Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia. Hopefully we can inspire this kind of event all over the nation. But more importantly, it allows us to service the incarcerated brothers and sisters by buying books, by allowing them to have access to religious material, to those who are being released, maybe help them with housing, help them with clothing, and whatever they need. All of the money goes into that. So it's a well worth event. I think anyone who comes going to be very, very impressed, pleased. So you're going to have good company, good entertainment, good food, and it's for a great cause. So come on down to Holly Springs, Mississippi, and participate in the great weekend. We'll give you the information before we leave, and so you'll know how to purchase your ticket for the event. Also, if you have a business or you want to make a personal comment or remark, submit a letter. We have a souvenir program that we're going to have ads put in it, and these ads will, when people come, we're going to give them a souvenir copy. So if you got a business, you can advertise your business. But for all that information, you can give us a call. We'll have the number for you before we leave. You can look on social media. You'll see the flyer, 4th Annual Prison Reform Gala, Holly Springs, Mississippi, November the 1st, 2022. Hope to see you there.
Man, that sounds exciting, brother. And I'm looking forward to it myself. We're going to have some people coming in all from around the country now within the Nation of Islam. And I'm not going to let the cat out the bag, so to speak, too prematurely. But the response, as you said to me, brother, has been thus far overwhelming. So if you want to get your tickets, brothers and sisters, we're working to heal ourselves. And that quote from Victor Hugo that I said is very, very relevant, because unfortunately what happened in Memphis, we had a situation where one of our brothers was driving around the city indiscriminately targeting human beings and shooting them. Shot 7 people, and 4 unfortunately lost their lives. This is the kind of thing that the axiom speaks to. If the soul is left in darkness, sins will be committed. Brothers and sisters, we have to take a greater responsibility for what's going on in our households, our personal lives, and in our communities, because this is why we say and we are taught that self-improvement is the basis for community development. No community is any better than the people and the institutions that the people run that are in the community. So if we want a better community, we're going to have to improve ourselves personally, and we can't be good for nothing. In other words, improving yourselves just to keep that beautiful improvement to yourself and confined to your own mind and heart. You know how we used to sing the song in the church? You remember the song, "This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine"? Well, what does that really mean? It means that the light of truth, the light of love, the light of God in us, we have to shine that light so that others' souls will be illuminated and they won't be left in darkness. Unfortunately, that was just tragic, man. And unfortunately, today we had people calling in and making false calls regarding active shooters today. So, and of course, in the wake of the kidnapping of the young lady, that's still national news. We've made national news for 2 days in a row, man.
Yes, that's sad. That's sad. But I don't know what's the bigger crime. As I watch the news and listening, and the thing that I love about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it gives us a discerning eye. Mm-hmm. And we understand how things can be politicized.
Yes, sir.
We're not minimizing anything that took place. However, Jim Strickland is trying to use that and trying to say this is why he supported truth in sentencing, and why you can pick out 1 or 2 instances. For the most part, the things that he's saying is not true. But what happens, we highlight the 1 or 2 cases, and then we use that and we legislate with a heavy hand. And then those who come in who may be able to be helped and restored, they're not allowed to, because they fall up under the legislation that's going to entrap them for the next 51 years of their life. And these are the things that we have to be careful of, because while emotions are high, the very people who have never had our people's best interest at heart, they use our hurt, they use our pain, and then they come out with these heavy-handed, archaic, draconian laws. That's and right. Then you look up and our babies are caught up in this system. Uh-huh. And we always pointing the finger at the 1 or 2. There's always outliers. But for the most part, we have to ask ourselves, if the sins are committed from a soul that has been left in darkness, the guilty one, the one who created that environment of darkness. So let's keep that in mind. Let us grieve. Let us get our emotion out, but let cooler heads prevail when we get to talking about, it's a revolving door down at juvenile court. They're just going in. As the mayor said, they're getting a slap on the wrist. Well, ask Quentin Sanders if he got a slap on the wrist. Here's a young man riding in the car. Terrible auto accident. Right. Someone lose their life. Should he be locked up for the rest of his life for one instant? I think not. If all of us was judged like that for something we did at the age of 15, an impulsive act, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't want to be judged that way. So again, that was something that I heard, and as I heard it, it really bothered me because we were using these instances in order trying to legislate across the board. And sometimes you tie up a compassionate judge's hands who sees the incident as it is. But when you have these mandatory sentences,
Yes,
like this quote unquote truth in sentencing,
Mm-hmm.
now after you served 15, 20 years, you still got 30 some more years to do.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the justice in that?
That's right. That's right, brother. That is absolutely right. You know, and I hear them say, and we got a call on the line. We're going to get our brother in just a minute. They're calling for more police. And my mind went to the scripture that reads, brother, except the Lord guard the city, the sentinel guards in vain. So we're not going to police our way out of this problem. We're not going to incarcerate our way out of this problem. We're going to have to look inwardly and take a more holistic approach and comprehensive approach, I should say, to the problems that we face. Right now, man, we got a caller that's called in already. I want to go ahead and get our brother on. And caller, are you there? Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
How you doing, my brother? Brother, I forgot your name just that quick. You told me when I answered the line. Who's calling? From Mos 35, correct?
Yes, sir. This is Brother Adolph from Mos 35 in Wilmington, Delaware.
Praise be to Allah. Brother Adolph, what's on your mind this evening, man? We are live on the air and the listening audience is hearing you, brother.
Well, I was very concerned about what's going on in Jackson, Mississippi area. It was very concerning to me because I have a lot of family members and loved ones in the Mississippi, Vicksburg area, and I was just concerned about what's going on. And
yes, sir.
You don't always like to believe the stuff that you hear on the radio and the news. So I'd like to get it straight from the source, from a source that I can trust.
Oh, my brother. Well, you've tapped into a source that you certainly can trust because we are duty bound, brother, to bring you accurate and well-vetted information. In fact, tonight's guest is student minister Abram Muhammad of Jackson, Mississippi, Mosque number 78. And he works in local government there in Jackson, along with the mayor, Chokwe Lumumba. And he will be our guest. He'll be on in about the next 6 minutes. So, brother, just stay tuned in. And, of course, tonight's program is a ground zero look, a view from ground zero of what's going on in Jackson, Mississippi. And, brother, and I can assure you that Brother Abram, he's going to lay bare the facts as it relates to what's happening down there where your family members reside. So, my brother, look, Brother Adolph, man, thank you for calling in, man. You calling in from where again? Didn't you say Wilmington, Delaware?
And that is correct, Wilmington, Delaware.
Oh, man, brother. Let's give him a round of applause. My brother, thank you. Thank you so much.
All praises be to Allah. Thank you.
Brother, thank you for tuning in and thank you for your call. May Allah bless you and your family, all right?
All praises be to Allah. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. That was our brother Adolph calling in. Man, look, hey. Let's give some more shout outs. We're going to be going to a commercial break in a couple of moments here, right at about 7:27. We expect our brother Abram to be on right at about 7:30. And I want to send shout outs to those that have tuned in and joined us. As I say, I don't even see Brother Adolph on the board that lets you know that there are people listening outside of the app. So we want to thank Brother Marcus for calling in, and Brother Samuel, thank you for tuning in, brother. Of course, my queen, Sister Shahida, is on. Sister Audrey is on. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am. And others have tuned in to tonight's podcast. Brother Kenneth, we're going to have a good discussion, brother, because as it stands, they've gotten some of the national institutions involved in the water crisis, quote unquote, fixing the problem.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now that national attention and all eyes are on it, everybody is coming in, and that's beautiful. That's good. We need to work towards a solution. We don't really have time to be pointing fingers while people need water to just take a bath and to cook.
Yes, sir.
We can have that discussion later. But we have to take a look at the reality of things going forward. Will Jackson and those municipalities there in Mississippi be left at the mercy of state government to aid and assist when the reality is, and it's real documented that there's been major divestments in those predominantly Black communities, which is not happening to predominantly white communities. The resources that should be made available to all the cities are not being equitably distributed, brother. So,
well, that is obvious. And Brother Adolph, he had said something about not being sure he could trust what was being out. And to some people that may seem kind of strange, but we know that for the most part, the news, everything here in America, we have to kind of look at it with a different particular eye because of their history. And I'm saying that I was reading something, maybe it was a post on the site, I think it's called Memphis Raise Your Expectations. And it's just a group of concerned citizens. And one individual, I won't use the brother's name, he was just pointing out the difference in the coverage and concern. But the tragedy that happened to the young woman, which was a tragedy, no doubt, but he was pointing out a couple of days earlier that someone got killed in the Black community, body laid out in the streets. And he said he only saw it maybe three minutes on the news. Mm-hmm. He said it wasn't no all-out support, and it didn't garner any national attention. All the resources and everything that was used in the one case to solve it in a relatively short amount of time compared to the over 75,000 and counting women of color that is missing. Mm-hmm. And I said 75,000 and counting.
That's right.
That's bigger than most cities in our state. Yet the outcry is not as loud. The resources seem not to come as heavy. And so he was just highlighting the difference in how certain instances with certain groups of people are covered and handled. And it's a valid point. And I know someone might say, well, y'all just racializing everything. Well, I have to look at it from a Black perspective as a Black man.
That's right.
And I don't, begrudge you from looking at it from whatever angle you're looking at it. But what we have to do is make sure that the playing field is level.
That's right.
So when something happens to us, it garners the same kind of support, the same kind of resources, the same kind of coverage, and the same kind of solutions that we find when it happens in other communities. And that's why when the brother said he wanted to, get another view that he may feel more comfortable with. So again, that highlights, Brother Shahid, the importance of media platforms like Mississippi on the Move and other brothers and sisters who are trying to do whatever they can, wherever they are, to help our people in the protracted struggle for liberation.
That's right. Well, Brother Kenneth, we're coming up on the 7:30 hour, man. We're going to busy ourselves by getting ready to take a commercial break before we bring in our brother Abram Muhammad. He should be on in a minute or two, but we will be right back after these commercial messages.
20 past 12, chilling in the studio, taking over the world. Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. I come in peace, I don't mean you no harm. I say assalamu alaikum.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call Radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
What's your source for truth in news reports?
Justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Where do you turn for non-corporate driven news that's fair and balanced?
No shoot. No shoot. No shoot.
Subscribe to the Final Call News, your number one free and independent news source that delivers hard-hitting national and international news coverage of today's political, economic, and social issues. To subscribe to local home delivery, call us at area code 662-252-8999. That's 662-252-8999. Visit our website at www.finalcall.com.
The Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique. At Urban Indulgence, we pride ourselves on offering quality, effective skincare. Handcrafted with plant-based, skin-loving ingredients, our soaps and body butters will give you luxurious lather and ultimate moisture. Experience the Urban Indulgence at 3314 Poplar Avenue in Memphis, 3 blocks west of Poplar Plaza, or shop with us online at theurbanindulgence.com. theurbanindulgence.com.
And we're back live here at the Mississippi on the Move podcast. Once again, I am your brother, Abdul Shaheed Muhammad, and I'm here along with my brother, Kenneth Muhammad. And I think our guest, our special guest, has arrived. I see him in the queue here, so we're gonna queue him up and get him up and moving. Brother Dr. Abram Muhammad, are you there, sir?
Yes, sir, dear brother. Can you hear me?
Man, loud and clear. Brothers and sisters, please welcome to the Mississippi on the Move podcast, our dear brother and friend, student minister, Dr. Abram Muhammad. He is the student minister representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in the city of Jackson, Mississippi. Brother Abram, I know you're on the move, man. You're a man on the move. I want to give you an opportunity to bring our audience up to date. But first things first, Brother Abram, introduce yourself, man. I'm excited about having you on the podcast for the very, very first time. Our dear brother out of the great state of Mississippi. And I got that from you, brother. If you would, the audience, man.
All praise is due to Allah. Thank you so much, Brother Minister Shaheed and Brother Kenneth. Thank you so much for this honor and pleasure having me on this program and on your show. And I want to just say, before introducing myself, that we're so thankful to the both of you for putting on such a quality program that keeps the people not only in your immediate area, but throughout the great state of Mississippi and the whole entire country. To be honest, those that are tuning in, as I look at some of the numbers, they're coming from everywhere. And I just want to thank you and brother for taking time out of your schedules to keep people informed with the truth, keep them updated, and just give them information to where they can make their own choices. So it is a great reflection of our leader, teacher, and guide, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I just want to encourage you all to please keep going in the valence that you all are operating in. And thank you again. To the listening audience, I am Brother Abram Muhammad, student minister in Jackson, Mississippi of Muhammad Mosque number 78, and for the great state of Mississippi. I've currently been here in this great state for 10 years now, and my background goes as far as served 2 enlistments honorably in the United States Marine Corps, 8.5 years thereafter for law enforcement, worked in the private security sector, attended various institutions, but the one I'm most proud of is the Jackson State University, the I love, in which we're here in Memphis now, preparing to get ready to take on Tennessee State this Saturday as part of the football team. And getting preparation for that, where I serve as the communication manager for the coaches' communications for the team. But my regular job is the deputy director for the City of Jackson Parks and Recreation, and currently hold PhD in divinity and in criminal justice. With all that being said, none of that is equal to not one letter of being a proud and humble student and follower of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and working in this great work in the redemption work of our people and humanity as a whole.
Man, look, brother, you got some. You ain't walking light there, my brother. Man, those were some impressive credentials, and I'm glad that you shared that information with our listening audience, brother Abram. I've heard it said, man, that everybody in Jackson knows brother Abram. It's like everybody knows. Well, brother, I go and with this podcast that this is your platform too, my brother. I want you to know at the outset, and those who are students in the ministry under the leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So, God willing, or inshallah, be it the will of Allah, as we say as Muslims, it's a lot more folk throughout the great state of Mississippi gonna know about our brother and friend, student minister Abram Muhammad. So, brother, let's get to it with the status of what's going on, the status of the water treatment facility, and where you all are with providing and or re-establishing services for the residents there, over 180,000 as we understand. So, brother, kind of give us a thumbnail sketch of what got us to where we are now, or wherever you all are now.
Yes, sir. And thank you for that question. And I would like to say in the onslaught that um, just as a disclaimer that the information I would share will be that which is known to the public, which you can look up and find at any given time, but we'll try to give a little more commentary to it um, without withstanding those things going before the mayor that he may not have placed out there just as of yet. But the city of Jackson um, serves as a hub for several surrounding areas to where they receive their water as well. And what has taken place, just to give you a little backdrop, is that the infrastructure system of the O.B. Curtis water treatment plant that is stationed in Jackson, the road infrastructures and everything else that we have, they're very aged infrastructures, infrastructures that have plagued various mayors in the past, in whom have all attempted to do something in reference to rectifying the situation. It is literally millions of dollars that it would take to bring the infrastructure as a whole online where it needs to be. It's
Wow.
just the unfortunate thing that it reached its zenith, for a lack of better term, under the administration of Mayor Chokwe Antar Lumumba. The infrastructure, the city of Jackson, the leadership of Jackson has been trying to solicit for assistance for years. It
Mm.
is not something that the leadership of the city of Jackson can take care of in and of itself. I
Okay.
think it's important that the people realize that the state capital is in Jackson,
Come
the
on.
governor's mansion is in Jackson. Um, Most of laws and everything else that are regulated come from Jackson, and it's often said as Jackson goes, so does the rest of the state. So everybody pays taxes into the state. And so, therefore, it should be noted that when there's a problem such as this, it should not just be on the shoulders of the leadership of Jackson when it is a state issue.
Mm.
Water is a quality of life, it is a right to life that all human beings and animals, for that matter, just all God's creatures, needs water, quality water. And so, the water treatment plant, um, being the aged as it is, the piping aged as they are, the whole system being as it is, just reached a zenith in terms of its operational piece. And what happened was it dropped below the PSI levels, which is 87 PSI, is what is preferred to be or considered to be working properly. And
Mhm.
it has dropped below that level when we have experienced extreme cold weather, and then it goes to extreme hot, then you're talking about strain that is placed on the system and the piping underneath the infrastructure in itself,
Mm-hmm.
coupled with it being age, has caused several cracks and breaks in the line. And
Mm-hmm.
so, therefore, it interrupted services to quite many residents of the city of Jackson. And when some of the services was restored, then the quality of some of the water was as such to where it mandated a boil water notice. And
Mm-hmm.
so when it reached a level that it got almost down to 60 psi, that's when the mayor made a strong appeal to get the necessary help to come in at that time. And I think is only properly to note that last week he was on a phone conversation with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and myself,
Mm-hmm.
and was given some guiding principles in which I would withhold exactly specifically what was said because it was given to him. Um, but he moved out on those principles and those guidance, and was able to reach out and get in touch with the president. And as you all know, the rest, the president declared an emergency here and released some federal funds. And when that took place, then the state started coming on board. And so now what we have in place in the city now is where the state have came on, and we thank them for coming. Yes, it's their responsibility, but as Muslims, we're still thankful. We're
Right.
thankful that they came. They brought the necessary resources to help get the plant where it needed to be. The governor activated the National Guard,
Okay.
where they came in and was passing out bottled waters at various locations in which I had to help coordinate those locations as to where they would be stationed and how
Yes.
they would pass out the water and so on and so forth. And they're still doing that as we speak.
Yes, sir.
So it is good to report at this time that
Mhm.
as of today, um, for the past 24 hours, the water plant has been operating at 87 psi, which is the golden number it needs to get.
All
Uh,
right. Well, we ain't gonna get them applause just yet. I was about to. I'm a,
yes, sir. The gains that was made yesterday in the overhead storage tank, they have been able to maintain overnight thus far.
okay.
Um, Overall, the water production is increased from earlier in the week, and the production of 24.1 million gallons yesterday, which is
Wow.
over a 24-hour period, ended at midnight. The membrane part of the plant produced 14.1 million gallons, and the conventional part produced 10 million. And
Okay.
so, with that being said, it looks like everything is coming back online the way it needs to be. Nowhere near out of the water just yet, as
Uh-huh.
they say, we're out of the woods just yet.
Yes, sir.
Um, we were able to get two of our employees who work at the plant. They were able to get provisional license in terms of being able to do what's needed to be done as far as the treatment of the plant and everything there. So there's some positive things that are coming along with the help of the federal government and the state, in which I want to say once again to your listening audience that it's not like uh, the leadership of Jackson was as such to where they needed to come in and save. This is a collaboration of resources that should take place anyway, because as citizens we pay taxes to the state,
That's
and
right.
this is a state issue, and
Mm.
since the state is in the United States, that makes it a federal issue as well.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Brother Abram, first of all, again, it's an honor to have you here, brother. Um, I
I'm
want to
honored.
I want to touch on two points, brother. One, when you were talking about the collaboration and how it is being, in my opinion, skewed in the national media. I watched several news programs. There was one on CBS Nightly News, and they had the mayor, and they just asked a question, say, in a city that is predominantly black and have predominantly black leadership, how has the leadership failed the people? So, and I was just, and then it went to commercial just to leave that out there on your mind. And then we come back, of course, the mayor is very astute, very articulate, but he got maybe 3 words out, and they just cut the whole interview. And so what that showed me, along with the other news, because as I'm watching that, I'm replaying the conversation that you had with myself and Brother Shaheed when this thing first happened. I was saying the two not lining up.
That's right.
And everyone that knows, everybody in Mississippi know Brother Abram, and then everybody know that he's a straight shooter.
Come on.
He going to talk this. I said, well, something ain't jive. So I just sat back, and as I started listening to the mayor, who's usually the first person they ask, and the question generally is, well, mayor, what do you need? But it seems like there was a national media push to, one, show that the leadership in Jackson, which is predominantly black, was inadequate, and that the federal government had to swoop down and save the day, because those who the people, which are predominantly black, voted in were not, quote unquote, cutting the mustard. What is your take on that, and why do you think that was such a heavy slanted skewed reporting, of what was actually going on in the city of Jackson, Mississippi?
Yes, sir. Very, very excellent question. And I would first answer it as this. Why do I think that is? I think it is the media doing what the media always do. And that is, whenever you have black leadership that is strong, black leadership that is unapologetic for being black and love its citizens who are black, and all of its citizens, to include the other 13% that lives in Jackson. Mayor Lumumba is a mayor for all of the people. But it is as he has said before, if he lives in a city where 87% of the people are left-handed people, then he has to create jobs that is 87% reflective for left-handed people. So, so therefore, when you talk about the media slant, it's just another way of tapping into the mindset of those of us who already have self-hatred for ourselves. We don't have any love or real respect for our own self in kind. So therefore, we're very critical of our own leadership. And so when you have something that seems to be a failing system or a failing structure that happens to take place at this time, and the leadership is black, and now all of a sudden you have federal and state government that comes in and everything is back online, it appears if though you don't know how to manage the situation. But I would ask the audience to just think about this. If you think about it this way, if you're broke down on the side of the road and you need to change the tire, and you are in need of the necessary equipment that it takes to change the tire, and you call and you ask for assistance to come and change the tire, and who you call tells you that you need to do this in order for me to come and change, or you need to do that, or we don't feel comfortable with this, we don't feel comfortable with that. But you call another services to come and service your vehicle, and when that company finds out, they show up on the scene all of a sudden with the necessary tools to change your tire. Well, I equate this to the same thing. As I said in the opening session, the mayor and those previously before him has always asked for assistance for the aging infrastructure that Jackson has.
Yes,
And
sir.
it's ironic to me that once the federal government said that they were going to step in and release dollars to do this and that, that which was being withheld the whole time from the state is now all of a sudden available.
Ah,
So I'm saying that the people should sit back and listen and not be so critical of your own leadership and believing that all of a sudden people who have not been your friend, people who has not been in the best interest of you, people who push their own narrative and don't give your own genuine narrative, now all of a sudden their mouth is a prayer book?
come
Come
on.
on. We
That's right.
cannot keep falling for the same old trick. So, Brother Kenny, to answer the question further, the reason why they do it and continue to do it because we continue to still fall for the same trick.
Same okie doke.
Why change it? Hey, I'm a football guy. As I shared with you, that's what we're here in Memphis for this weekend.
Come on now.
If I'm running one play and every time I run this play, I'm getting 4 or 5 yards of pop, why am I looking to change to go to another play?
Mhm.
When every time I'm running this, I'm getting 4 or 5 yards of pop, I'm going to first down you all the way to down the field until I get a touchdown. So if we don't change our mindset on what we think of leadership, what we can do, how we can better aid, that's more of the question. How can we better aid? How can we help? Have we sat down and asked the mayor? I mean, he holds almost daily, family. I want everybody to listen, please listen. The mayor holds, first of all, before this crisis, a weekly, monthly city briefing.
Before the crisis.
Before the crisis, Brother Shaheed, he does it every Monday. He holds a state of the city, for lack of better terms, briefing for the news press, every news station, everybody is there, and he runs down what is taking place this week, what took place the week before, so on and so forth. Since the crisis, it has nearly been daily. So my question is, if the man is telling you what's taking place and you don't believe it, are you brother and sister enough to call and ask? Or to reach out to see what you're hearing from the news station all of a sudden is this, is that? Come on. We can't be so critical. So that's what it is, brother. It's a way of trying to get confidence away from the leadership of Jackson so that the people can start imploding upon themselves. So in my opinion, they can push their own agenda of what they want to do, which is to really take over the water system of Jackson.
Yes, sir.
See, a lot of people don't realize
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
that the
ahead.
biggest, sir, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Continue, brother. I was about to bring a caller, but go ahead.
Okay, that the biggest money producer for a municipality is the water system. The water system brings in more revenue for a municipality than anything else. So when you have something that is the source of not only your city, but several surrounding cities, and you are literally lurching over like buzzards, waiting for something to die off so you can come and pick the bones, to come in so you can profit off of it. These are the things that we have to be made aware of. Now, this is nothing that the mayor has said to me or nothing that the mayor has said publicly. This is your brother from his observation and knowing how things go based upon listening from the guidance of our teacher, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes,
We
sir.
know that when people withhold their hands, they withhold it for a reason. And when they show their hand, they show it for a reason.
Yes, sir. Quick question before we bring in a caller, because we had a caller earlier, Brother Adolph, who was concerned about what's happening, and he wanted a good information source. Man, he called in before you got on, so we told him to stand by, brother. We got someone that's boots on the ground that can give a clearer picture. But how old are those pipes, brother? I heard you mention earlier talking about the aging pipes. How old are those pipes that mayors prior to Mayor Lumumba's administration have been complaining and crying out, as the analogy you gave, to come fix the tire, because the taxes go to the state As I understand it, the state constitution of Mississippi does not allow municipalities to self-tax to generate revenue to face these issues. And so the cities are essentially dependent upon the state to allocate revenues from taxes of the citizens that they should give. Am I correct? So how old are those pipes, brother?
On average, you're talking an infrastructure system that is 83 years old.
Woo! You telling me that the pipe, on average, the average age of the pipes to the water treatment facility is 83 years old?
Throughout the city itself, on average. Now, some are as young as 2 years from Mayor Lamuma's administration and those previously who have tried to piecemeal. Those of us in our community, we know what that means. But those that have tried to piecemeal several pipings together, but the aging infrastructure of it, on average, as it was said to me by one civil engineer, is on average 83 years old.
Wow. Brother Abram, we got a caller on the line, man. We want to get him in. Caller, are you there? Hello, caller. I don't know. He must have went on mute or something, but we had a caller standing by to come on. Hopefully they'll call back because I don't hear them. They're not responding. If you have yourself muted, you may want to unmute yourself. Yeah, they're unmuted. So, well, maybe they got off, brother, but we had a caller on the line standing by. Maybe they will call back because we have a line where people can call in and ask a couple of questions or ask questions of our guests that come on. But brother, man, you've given a clear picture, but I think Brother Kenneth has another question he wants to shoot at you, brother, regarding this water thing.
Absolutely, please.
Well, I remember you was saying about 8 o'clock you had another engagement, but I heard someone that was a civil engineer, a friend of mine, and he said something. And when you were speaking about the monetization of the water and how water is the most, I forgot the term you use for municipality. But
right, a revenue generator. Yes, sir.
Revenue generator. Thank you, brother. And he know what he told me years ago. He says crisis management is a very lucrative business. And when you look at the crisis that we create sometimes in this country, whether it's wars, whether it's with the FEMA coming in doing things and billions of dollars get allocated, but it's always seemed like the certain companies or the certain type of people have access to that. So what I'm hearing from you, Brother Abram, is that there's somebody lurking in the background and just waiting for the opportunity to monetize and capitalize on this crisis.
Yes, sir. I believe that to be so. Obviously, you just as you said, when there are crises, you usually when you operate in crisis mode, you are not as preparatory as you are when you're dealing with other things, because crisis mode usually means that there are decisions and actions that have to be taken right now. So it's not going through the rigor and the process of screening, questioning, answering, things of that nature. All you know is you're broke down on the side of the road. It's pouring, raining. Cars are flying by, splashing water on you. You don't have the tools to get it done. But somebody come along, say $200, man, I'll change the tire for you. And you know, if you had the tools, or if somebody was just a good Samaritan, it wouldn't cost that. But it's raining, it's cold, cars are flying by, splashing water on you. You don't have the tools, and you need to get out of the elements. So you're going to take that highway robbery, for lack of better terms, to be able to get back mobile again. So again, I'm not saying that the mayor is saying someone is lurking or things of that nature. I'm just simply saying that you're right. When crisis mode happens, people usually come that are able to profit and benefit from it somehow, some way. But what I'm more speaking of is wanting to have complete control of the water system, period.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because if you're able to do that, then you're talking about a game changer in
Mhm.
a lot of ways.
Yes.
So that's what I believe more of. But I'll reserve certain things in the spirit of the mayor. He puts it like this. He said, "Well, it wouldn't benefit him or
Mhm.
the citizens of Jackson to criticize the state or anything at this point, especially while they're on scene doing what they're doing."
Right.
But I would like to say that especially this listening audience, especially if they are regular listeners, then they are people who don't just listen to something, they listen and pay attention. That those who are on this listening audience are astute enough to know that it's not, everything is not as the news is appearing it to be. I'll put it in my grandfather's proverb. He would say, "Grandson, I'm not saying that there's some crap in the yard, but the dog been loose all day."
Hey, out of the great state of Mississippi, man. Look, hey, that one, that's from the book of Granddaddy. You know, that's a book. But brother Abram, man, look, man, the information that you're giving, and I have to commend our mayor, and I do say our mayor, our brother
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Lumumba, and the posture that he's taken. He's not taking a finger pointing or slanting the story as we have seen some in mainstream media slant the story. But brother, I'm getting word from one of our listeners, brother Samuel X. He commented. Um, he said coupled that, meaning what we've said thus far, with state leaders who have, and let me, my eyes ain't as good as they used to be. I'm reading this screen and this writing is tiny. But he said, couple that with state leaders who have taken the poorest state and take money designated for the poor, but use upwards of 90 million and funnel it to the rich whites, he says, as noted by the press. Said Brett Favre, and building volleyball facilities for USMC, etc. Then he says that it's been discussed by Tate Reeves the possibility of privatization of, I'm thinking, the water plant. Yes, that's what he's saying.
Yes, sir.
Has that been out there, according to what one of our listeners is saying?
That has always been the talk.
To privatize.
I must answer truthfully since the question has been placed out there. That has always been the talk for not just doing this event,
Uh-huh.
but it has been that talk for years. Going back to what we said earlier, um, if you're able to respond so quickly to
Mm-hmm.
do something now, these are the same resources that was availed to you years ago. Why
Mm-hmm.
could it not been done then? So, yes, that's the talk that's out there, so on and so forth. But we are hopeful and believe that we have um, good, competent leadership that will keep things the way that they are
Mm-hmm.
in terms of where the system lies, who remains in control of it, so on and so forth. Do we need more employees there? Absolutely. Uh, are there improvements that's needed? Absolutely. But there's nothing in life that doesn't uh, that room doesn't fit in.
Yes.
So, and I'm not saying it to be an apologetic or to make an excuse. It's just I'm saying clearly, yes, we need more employees with that Class A certification to be able to work at the treatment plant. We need
Mm-hmm.
several things to be able to go forward. But I would just say, as the minister said to both of us, and I will share this part,
Mm-hmm.
that everything happens either by the active or permissive will of God.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has allowed this to take place to show something. And what that is to be seen, it is for each party to take their own. And I
Mhm.
would like to take the road of that where it needs to be improved, where there needs to be better working relationship, where there needs to be better collaboration, so on and so forth. At the end of the day, this is the great state of Mississippi,
That's right.
which means that every city and every county give homage to the state by way of its taxes.
That's right.
And if there is a crisis or an event, let me say it like that, because sometimes when we say crisis, we really give more credence to it than what it actually is. I'm not saying that there's not a problem,
Mhm.
but the way the media is sensationalizing it, it is not to the degree to where people are around here completely destitute,
Come on.
void of any type of water or things of that nature. Are there some residents that experience low to no pressure? Absolutely. Did it last for weeks upon weeks? No. Is that the case now? Very, very, very small percentage are experiencing low pressure, let alone no pressure. So a PSI is coming through the pipe. Yes, sir.
Good. Praise be to Allah. Brother Abram, man, I know you got to get on down, man. I know you got some things coming up, man. So you're working with Coach Prime, man. What's that like, man? Before you get out of here. And I did have one
Um,
question.
oh, please, brother. I got a few more minutes. I just got a text that that the team meeting is going to be delayed a little bit. So
Okay.
yes, sir. Well,
Let me
um,
just one question before you
yeah, please go with your question.
like go working with Coach Prime. Uh, what can going forward? What can cities like Jackson and other cities do for themselves, whereby they are not at the mercy of the state to address these kinds of issues or crises when they do come up? What can predominantly black cities, and it seems, not seems, the fact of the matter is, because I saw Brother Chokwe when he was interviewed on Democracy Now, a couple of interviews he's done, and how the racial disparity was brought up in terms of how white, predominantly white municipalities don't experience this kind of thing or this kind of response from the state, as noted by Mr. Alvarez. But what can Jackson and cities like her that are predominantly black do for themselves, particularly with this issue where they're not so heavily reliant on the state to come in and be the swooping in savior? What do you think about that, brothers?
Yes, sir. Very, very good question. Unfortunately, going back to something you said earlier in terms of what the city can and cannot do in reference to generating funds for itself, kind of hamstrings and put a a a clamp per se or a ceiling on exactly what you can do. Um, an infrastructure such as this, a situation such as this, as I've learned from this, is almost you almost never find the local municipality able to take care of it in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the reason why you pay state taxes.
Mm-hmm.
It is to the degree to where your assistant has to come from there. Now, what could better aid is this more unification of us. How is that? What does that look like? Well, if we worked in a collaborative effort and the mayor, who is the voice, the father, the head of the house of the city in any municipality,
Mm-hmm.
goes to state or federal legislative to ask for assistance on certain things, it's better when he goes with the voice and the body of the people who show that they have his back.
Mm-hmm.
And meaning that you write your congressman, you write your representative, you put petitions together, you put all of these things together that gives him arms and ammunition to show, listen, in a city of 150,000 people, of which 87% of that percentage are black people. If you have a majority of those signatures, a majority of those calls, a majority of those standing with you, and legislators see this, it gives you more of a backing, leverage of what you need, of what you're going to ask for. But when you look at a city that appears to be on some level, as they reported, some that's not involved together, some that are not working in unison. It appears that council works against the mayor, or the mayor against the council, and so on and so forth, this and that. When you are so inundated with that type of coverage, and you don't see the real heart and soul of Jacksonians, you don't really see the heart and soul of the unity that takes place on the grassroots level, it makes it hard when you go to ask or petition for that which rightfully should be given to you because you pay taxes as a city to the state.
Yes, sir.
So that's, in my humble opinion, because of the handcuffs that are there that prevents cities from generating certain amount of revenue in and of for itself. It has to have the voice of the people reaching out to those that they elected to put in office to say, listen, our man is coming before you, or our woman, or our person, our mayor is coming before you to ask for ABC 1, 2, 3. We need for you to not only consider this, but to vote for this. And I guarantee you, if you got, let's say, 50,000 people alone telling their representative that, and they want to be a politician, what you think they're going to do? So it goes back to what we were taught.
Yes, sir.
From the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught him, our unity is more powerful than an atomic bomb.
Man, Brother Abram, man, thank you so much, brother, for accepting our humble invitation.
And now, I still want to answer that question about Coach, man.
Oh, yeah. What's it like working with Coach Prime, man? I mean, that's got to be an experience, man. You on the move.
Oh, brother, it is an absolute joy and a delight to serve the brother. He is a man that is a God-fearing man, first and foremost. He is that. Coach Prime doesn't even swear. So he leaps and bounds ahead of me. But he is a man that is firmly committed in bringing attention to HBCUs, not only just Jackson State, but all HBCUs throughout this country. He is committed to letting our young black athletes know, and white as well too, that you don't have to go to these traditional schools in order to be seen or to make it to the next level if that's your goal and aspiration. He always said that if you can play, they'll find you. And with his connections, he has been able to have various NFL teams on campus looking at the players. But I want to take it a step further. He's one of few coaches who opened the door for all of Mississippi athletes, no matter what school you attended, to come down to an NFL combine to be looked at by NFL scouts.
Man.
I'm telling you, man, I mean, for a man to be able to open up that and to bring the notoriety, the resources to the school and to HBCU, hey, this is nothing new in terms of you and I and most of the listening audience. We know of the rich histories of HBCUs. We know that over 70% of doctors, scientists, dentists, and lawyers, and all of these things are graduates of HBCUs. We know this. We know that a great percentage of NFL athletes are predominantly black.
Walter Payton.
Man, please listen. If you want to run the record, now let's just toot Mississippi horn for a minute. If you want to run the record, the leading receiver in yards in the NFL in Urbana, Mississippi Valley State University.
Yeah.
The NFL leading rusher up until my former high school teammate back in Pensacola, Florida, Emmitt Smith, broke it. Walter Payton, Jackson State.
That's right.
One of the most prolific air raid passer in the NFL, Air McNair, Alcorn University.
Alcorn.
All of these are HBCUs out of the great state of Mississippi.
Man.
So when you want to look at some things, you have a school like my school, Jackson State alone, have more Hall of Famers than some of these Power 5 schools in the country. We have 4 Hall of Famers and 5 if you count Coach Prime. So working for him and with him has been a delight. It is being a delight. He's a professional on every level. He demands professionalism, not only from the players and the coaches, but for those who are in charge of the equipment, the medical staff, the communication, which falls on me and Brother Ladarius Watkins. He just demands professionalism. He demands us look good, feel good, play good. So it's just been an honor working with him, and he's just a profound individual. And I could just say that every step he takes is calculated, sets up another. And I'm just thankful that he kept your little brother on staff when there was a changing of the guard. And so we're looking to defend the SWAC championship and have a double peat and bring it back home to Mississippi. And inshallah, be the will of God, we will go to Celebration Bowl and bring it back home this time.
Come on, man. Now we got to get at the theme, the theme tag, because Mississippi is
Mississippi on the move.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We certainly want to thank you, Brother Abram, for coming on, man. Enlightening, informing. People know this, Brother Minister. This is your platform. You have but to give me a call, brother, if there's anything that you need to get out to the citizens of the great state of Mississippi. I am serious, brother, that not only is everybody in Jackson going to know Student Minister Abram Muhammad, the representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, but throughout the state you represent, dear brother, they're going to know.
Well, brother, I would like to take advantage of that right now for 30 seconds, if I can.
Yes, sir.
I would like to tell the listening audience, especially those who may be in the city of Jackson, that September 25th, the last Sunday of this month, at Muhammad Mosque number 78, 3615 Jane, Jayne Avenue, we'll be having a Friends and Family Day full of fun, food, and most importantly, a good word that will be absolutely life-changing. We will be honored, pleasured, beyond measures if you would bless us with your presence on the 25th, last Sunday of the month at 10 a.m., 3615 Jane Avenue. If you have any questions or concern or would like to know more, please call 601-715-5600 for more information. Secondly, I would like to announce that please stay tuned to this station because there's a very, very special event that's going to be taking place the first weekend of November.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give my hand to it. I want to let the host talk about it. But I'm telling you, if you all are in that Holly Spring, Memphis, South Haven, Tupelo, just listen, if you anywhere in Mississippi, period, and now the gas done gone down a little bit, you can go ahead and fill up and get ready for it, put something to the side, however you got to do. But you want to make sure you be able to make your way to Holly Spring, Mississippi, that first weekend in November. There's something special that's going to be taking place, and I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. Yes. So stay tuned to listen out for that forthcoming. Thank you, Brother Minister. I appreciate you allowing me to put that plug in.
Man, please, we thank you for plugging. And he's talking about the Prison Reform Gala. And we're going to be giving more information, host hotel information, and the whole nine in the coming days. Once again, brother student minister Abram Muhammad, give him a black hand for coming on.
Thank you, brother Shahid, brother. Thank you.
Brother, thank you. May Allah bless you, dear brother. We greet you with the greeting words of peace. And please give the believers our love and greetings from the believers of the Holly Springs, Mississippi Study Group. Please give them our love and greetings of Assalamu alaikum, just like the song is saying. All right?
We certainly will. And please return. Walaikum salam. Love you all. Thank you, brothers.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters,
Walaikum salam.
we will be right back after these commercial announcements.
Food we are serving. See, mine is for the fork, adding substance to the fork, and yours is for the court, doing chores for the pork. We're both under pressure, getting burnt by this 33rd degree. So why on earth you wanna smoke me? It's your brother who's broke, it's your brother who's dying, it's your brother who you poke. Stick him up with the iron. He's the one who is arrested for the same dirty job. After you get a sentence in the prison, full stop. It's your brother who knows and overstands your grind. Your brother has the same pain sitting in his mind. Ignorant and blind, we divide by these different ends. We can come together and just fight for these dividends. Look, do you want your own demise? Do you know that this is all by design? What, you think it's a coincidence to all around the world? We're the biggest ones dying and we're filling up the jails, and still we own nothing, not the clothes on our back. And we go through all this suffering for the fact that we are black. Even though we lack, we hate all the time. Open your eyes, you uncultured swine. They're killing off our leaders just for trying to take action. From Malcolm to Martin, Marley to Jackson.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button, or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
What's your source for truth in news reporting?
Justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Where do you turn for non-corporate driven news that's fair and balanced?
No shoot. No shoot. No shoot.
Subscribe to the Final Call News, your number one free and independent news source that delivers hard-hitting national and international news coverage of today's political, economic, and social issues. To subscribe to local home delivery, call us at area code 662-252-8999. That's 662-252-8999. Visit our website at www.finalcall.com.
The Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique. At Urban Indulgence, we pride ourselves on offering quality, effective skincare. Handcrafted with plant-based, skin-loving ingredients, our soaps and body butters will give you luxurious lather and ultimate moisture. Experience the Urban Indulgence at 3314 Poplar Avenue in Memphis, 3 blocks west of Poplar Plaza, or shop with us online at theurbanindulgence.com. theurbanindulgence.com.
Mississippi on the move.
Yes, and we are back. We are about to land this plane for tonight's broadcast. Again, I am your brother Abdul Shahid Muhammad. My brother Kenneth, as usual, he has to take flight. He has some other obligations. He's out of the studio right now. We want to take time to thank everyone for tuning in. Thank our guest, Student Minister Abram Muhammad, for coming on to the platform for tonight. And all of the listening audience, may God bless you and your families. But before we depart, of course, we're going to give you tonight's cultural segment. And for tonight's cultural segment, we need to have our own culture. We need to have our own artistic expression. And in the Nation of Islam, we have artists and rappers and playwrights and what you would have with any other society. Well, I happen to be a member of the cultural community, and I want to share some of my music with you. So tonight's cultural segment comes from yours truly, Brother Abdul Shahid Muhammad. And this comes from my third release, Righteous Life. And the title cut is, or the cut of the song, the title of it is My People. So check this out. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren like unto thee. And I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. Every other house is abandoned on the street, with a homeless squat inside the filth, so in need. Brothers on the porch, hands in their pockets, looking up and down the street. They hustle to make ends meet. Hear the babies crying when they wake up, 'cause mama's gone again. And they don't say good morning, they watch you close as you pass them by. 'Cause where we live, it's hard to find a friend. But my people, we can make it. My people, you're not forsaken. Yes, my people, no matter how bad it looks. My people, yes, my people. Oh, the people on the hills are through. They all have given up on you. God, Christ, and His faithful one loves your soul. Putting that same love inside of me, that I'd be prepared to set you free. He is growing my faith, and my people, we can make it. My people, we're not forsaken. Yes, my people, no matter how bad it looks. My people, yes, my people. Oh. An evil fisherman has planned to capture us in his net. He makes the game look quick and easy, but he knows far we won't get. A heavy price was paid to redeem me and you. Will you reject the gift that can comfort and relieve you? The time is short, and the harvest is great. We gotta make a stand, or it's too late. If they only knew, they lift their hands and dry their eyes. We got to tell them a Savior has arrived. And my people, we will make it. My people, we're not forsaken. My people, no matter how bad it looks. My people, see my people, we suffered for so long. My people, and we're still holding on. My people, no matter how dark the night. My people,
My people. My people.
Yes, we're back and we're about to sign off for tonight. And once again, that was yours truly, your brother Abdul Shaheed Muhammad from My Righteous Life CD title cut, My People. So, brothers and sisters, that brings to a close tonight's edition of the Mississippi on the Move podcast. Please make sure you subscribe to the Final Call newspaper. You can go to finalcalldigital.com, or if you live in the Holly Springs, Mississippi, Red Banks area, you can give us a call at the Holly Springs, Mississippi Study Group at area code 662-252-8999. We want about a good 1,000 of you. We want to send 1,000 of those final calls from 865 North Memphis Street every week out to our readership. Also, make sure you go and support those businesses that are supporting us, one of which is theurbanindulgence.com. That is the website. Just go and visit theurbanindulgence.com and buy some of the personal care products, soaps, body butters, body oil, lip butter, deodorant, bath bombs, shower steamers. Hey, you got to get online and get your stash from theurbanindulgence.com. That's going to do it for tonight's broadcast. And once again, we thank you for tuning in, and we leave you as we came before you with the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Mississippi on the move.
Let's go. Deep in the delta where the willows grow, in the soil stained by the blood of my ancestors. Punch bowl voices call out to my soul for justice. The wicked will reap what they've sown. Spirit of Aziz is back on the rise. Soldiers in the delta kept it alive. Time to stand up, take our place in the sun. Understand the time and what must be done.
Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Mississippi. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi.
Gotta make a move and take control. Have something we can call our own. So shine your light, help the people see that now is the time for us to be free. And if you waiting on the pie in the sky, you better wake up fast. They told you a lie, cause big fields await the wide awake man. Elijah's got the master plan.
Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Mississippi. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Injustice, we've had enough. All of our divisions we're breaking up. Destiny has been calling us. The Spirit of the Most High is guiding us.
See, the time is now. What you waiting on? Quit shooting your brothers. Put your gun down. Come on. They got a cage waiting for you if you keep that up. Early graves coming to you. From that, can't raise you up. Now, Sister Ida B and Fannie Lou, check them out and you'll know what to do. But if you really want your enemy to be alarmed, read the final call. Follow Farrakhan.
Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Mississippi. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi on the move. Mississippi. Mississippi, Mississippi, Mississippi on the move.